I'm going to call to order the Raymore Park Board meeting for Tuesday, January 24th, 2017. I need a roll call.
Yes, sir. Member Castleman, Ward 1.
Here.
Member Eastwood, Ward 1.
Present.
Member Cipolla, Ward 2. Member Howdy Shell, Ward 2, absent. Member Heath, Ward 3.
Present.
He said my name? I didn't read it.
Member Harris, Ward 4.
Present.
Member Troutman, Ward 4.
Present.
Member Seamers, at large.
Present.
And Chairman Manson, Ward 3.
Present. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Personal appearances. Director, do we have any?
We have no personal appearances
Okay.
scheduled.
All right. Next is acceptance of the meetings from the previous meeting, November 22nd, 2016. Are there any corrections or notations to be made in regards to that? All right, if none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the minutes from the November 22nd, 2016 meeting.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made and second. All those, any discussion? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. All right, it's unanimous. We have no committee reports since the Finance, Recreation, and Grounds did not meet as a result of the holidays. All right, we'll go to staff reports. Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent McLean is out on sick leave, so he has submitted a written report. If you have any questions about that, I can do my best to answer those, but he will be back in February to give a full report on what's been going on.
All right, sir. Do we have, Director Mustaine, do we have something from operations?
Yes, sir. I'll call on Superintendent Rulo.
Thank you. I also submitted a written report. Just wanted to hit on a couple keynotes. One is not in the written report. I just wanted to make note about the Boy Scout Troop 124 participated in a Christmas tree recycling program again this past January. And the program is definitely growing. They made out of donations, they made about $345 this year, which is probably around 30 to 40 trees. Plus, Lowe's had called us, and they had some extra Christmas trees also, and they brought them over. They had an additional 70 trees, so the Boy Scouts definitely got their work out, and they should have plenty of firewood for their campouts this coming year. Also, just wanted to make note, it's been kind of a hot item in the city. I don't know if everybody's heard about it, but we stocked, with the help of, or a partnership of MDC, we stocked the Hawkridge Lake, Johnston Lake, Hawkridge Park, with 1,340 trout last week. And we've never seen so many people out there at the park and the lake since. It's been great. There's constantly 15 to 20 people out there fishing. We've got great feedback. There's been at least one big trout over 5 pounds caught, and we think there was another one caught this evening. So it's been great. If you guys get a chance to go down there and see, hopefully you can find a parking spot, because every time I go down there, the whole parking lot's full. It's awesome. So I would entertain any questions.
All right, no questions. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Michelle.
Kind of a silly question, but will the fish have a chance to reproduce with the mad fishing going on?
The trout, no, they're basically stocked. Trout need very deep, very cold running water to basically survive. They're in there to be caught and taken out. But it's a great program. We hope, we plan on doing it again next year, maybe dividing it up, stocking it once early November, and then come back again in late January and doing it the other half. So,
Brian.
Yeah, I heard, was at city council meeting last night, and I heard one of them mention that it's catch and release if you have a regular fishing license. You have to have a different license to keep the trout. Is that true?
Yes, to keep the trout, you have to have a trout tag also. It's an additional $7 that you can get on the Missouri Department of Conservation
Okay.
webpage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Director Musting?
Thank you, sir. I've also submitted a written report, and I just have a couple items to highlight for you all tonight. As a reminder, next Monday night, we will have a joint work session with the city council. Have a couple topics that we'll be bringing up to discuss with you guys. The agenda and the packets will be sent out later this week, and you guys will all be included on that email distribution list. But as of now, the topics scheduled for discussion, should all the information and everything get returned, is the Hawk Ridge Park schematic designs, basically the pictures of what the architects have provided for us to look at, so a little presentation from Confluence. And then we will also meet with the council and discuss the cemetery topic that we met at work session last week. This will also be a joint work session with the Arts Commission. I'm unsure of the schedule of whether we go first or the Arts Commission goes first, but depending on that, when our portion is done, I would ask that you guys respectfully leave the table and sit back in the audience so that the Arts Commission can come up or whatever the council requests us at that time. So that's next Monday night, and we'll make sure that you have reminders of that. Also this Friday, I'll be traveling to Branson. I am the program chair for our state association's annual conference this year, and that is first week of March. It's the Missouri Parks and Rec Conference. I believe you guys all got your magazines today, but this Friday is our final meeting before the conference, so I'll be traveling down there to wrap up those things. So it's been a good experience. I'm pleased to do my part, and I think we have a very good conference lined up and a good program, educational sessions lined up for that. The Raymore Rocks program, as you can see if you follow us on Facebook, is Jerry Lynn has been doing the Raymore Rocks program, where we hide a painted rock with Minsky's Pizza on it in one of the parks, and then that Minsky's does a promotion, a free pizza, things like that. Been very successful, very popular, and we post those on Facebook as soon as it happens. So we've had 3 just since the turn of the year. So it's pretty exciting, and it's really fun to see those kids come in the office, seeing that, getting their prize. So that's a pretty cool program Jerry did. Last Saturday, our basketball league started. It was canceled due to the inclement weather, the ice storm that was supposedly horrible on that Saturday morning, but that's okay. We postponed it, and we started off this week, and our new athletic coordinator, Hedrick, he's doing a fantastic job. We're really pleased to have him on the team, and he's doing a lot of good work. And finally, to wrap up this week, I believe today's Tuesday, so it'd be Thursday, we're having our pre-bids for the rack. It's out to bid right now, so we'll have our pre-bid meetings with any potential contractors or bidders that have any questions for us. So that project and that facility is on its way, and hopefully this time next year we'll be planning a grand opening for that facility. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Brian?
Yeah, there's Raymore Rocks. I've seen kids come in. How often does that get hit? Does that just turn around and get hidden, or is it done every couple of weeks, or how's that process work?
About every 2 or 3 days. Once it turns up,
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn takes it back out every 2 or 3 days.
A couple of days later, okay. I didn't know if it was like every day people were turning these rocks in. Minsky's.
Yeah, it's really just an ongoing program with
Yeah.
Minsky's. What Jerry Lynn told me this week is what she really does is kind of monitor the weather. If we know it's going to get bad, we don't put it out there and worry about it. But if it's been nice, like it has been the last week or so, we do it. So it's really at her discretion working with Minsky's, and it's a good partnership. It's really popular.
And I've only seen the front of the rock that says Minsky's. When the kids find the rock, how do they know to turn it in?
On the bottom side, it says return to
It does.
Raymore Parks and Rec and has our phone number on it. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Good program.
Any other questions? Thank you, Director. All right, there's no old business scheduled. New business. Item A is Rec Track 3.1 upgrade. This is an action item. Director Mustang?
Thank you, sir. Our current operating system that we take all of our registrations, our online registrations, our address databases, basically everything we use and we function from an electronic standpoint is ran through RecTrack, and it's a service that we paid for several years ago. We do an annual maintenance fee for that. We do annual upgrades, so it's nothing new. What is new this time is that the current program that we have is now slated to not be updated anymore. It is basically a dying software. We have basically limited time before they won't even do service calls on this program. So it's really one of those kind of forced upgrades that you're required to do. We've known it's coming. Superintendent McLean prepared a report for you, and within that report he explains that there's a pretty extensive waiting list for this. It's not quick and easy. It's very time consuming. It's a training process. Greta, Mr. Hedrick, Ms. Keith, and Mr. McLean, they'll be heavily involved with the training, learning the new software. But what has happened is we budgeted for this. We put it in our budget preparation. Mr. McLean has gone to a training seminar, and we've been on the waiting list, and our training is scheduled for February. Unfortunately, it didn't get funded, and what we were hoping was this would be one of those projects that the IT department can funnel through, because it is a kind of a technology program, but we were hoping that that would get picked up through the city council. It did not. So what we were here asking for is that we can go ahead and make a budget amendment, purchase this upgrade, not waste our time, start over with the new 14-month waiting list, and go ahead and proceed with this program. We have checked with the finance department. It is within our means to do this. It's just at your discretion if that's what you choose. And with that, I'd answer any questions, sir.
Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to go ahead and approve the budget amendment for $6,975 to upgrade RecTrack to 3.1.
Second.
All right, I have a motion made and second for acceptance of the approval to use funds amounting to $6,975 out of the park fund balance. Is there any discussion? Eric?
Did you guys look at any other software packages, or in terms of what other
Yes, sir.
potential software
Actually,
you'd want?
if we did do that, it would be a total move this out and bring something in, which would be several $1,000s, maybe close to $15,000 to $20,000 to convert and change all of that. It's kind of one of those things, once you lock in, it's cheaper to update and just upgrade as opposed to eliminate it, move to ActiveNet or RecWare. There's a lot of programs out there, but the research for all that was years ago when we did this.
Sure. What percentage use each of those types? I mean, how many use this specific software in Parks and Rec industry? I mean, what?
This is by and large the most popular nationwide. I would say probably 80 to 85% of the Parks and Rec departments use RecTrack.
Okay, thanks.
Brian?
Yeah, reading some of the features that are available, one is more to offer the staff and patrons regarding usability and some improved navigational web components. So I assume that'll tie into our current website, or will it kind of link out to its own cloud web?
Yeah, it's a web-based program that does link from ours. So when you click on it at the Parks and Rec page on raymore.com, it just takes you to its own WebTrack page. It will look identical to ours. I mean, users won't know that there's any difference in the two. It's just a link.
Will it, does it also do scheduling, this upgrade, or are you still going to use Team Sideline?
At this point, we'll probably stick with Team Sideline because we partner with so many other cities who use that. And Team Sideline, I was one of the originals when we started that they've kind of built that program and catered that for us to be able to manipulate schedules as we need. RecTrack scheduling, I had that prior to. It's very limited, very internal. I mean, you can't share games with outside organizations near as easy. So I would say at this point we won't pay for that scheduling feature.
And then the last question, because it kind of affects me a little bit, the staff scheduling, do staff scheduling, and specifically I'm speaking of umpires and referees?
He does have a module to do some umpire and referee scheduling. We're actually looking at doing something a little different with that. We'd like to bring to the board during the budget prep a system that's a little more user-friendly, and we can also link into the concession areas and kind of be a mobile time clock, so to speak. So we would like to bring that to you guys later. What this program does, though, is once internet Wi-Fi is available in the concession stands and all of that, RecTrack can be put there, and we can have on-site cash handling, just transactions and everything. So this system, in a sense, can be mobilized to go to our off-site facilities, including the rack, the center view, the concession stands as well.
And speaking of Wi-Fi, I saw that was funded in the budget for this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a time frame on that?
We are working on that. It is a project currently in place right now.
Okay.
And I have a meeting with the IT director and the finance director this week to discuss just how we're going to fund it, financing, things like that. What's the
Okay.
next step?
Thank you.
Jim?
Do they do the training here, or do we go there? How does that work?
Okay, good question. The initial training for Mr. McLean, we sent him to Vermont last August, and that was in lieu of going to the NRPA conference. He chose to do that knowing this was coming. So that initial training's off-site. The training here will be, I believe, they may send one person. If not, it will be like a webinar type series where we're looking and they're training us through integrated.
There's a representative coming for the whole week.
Okay.
Last week of February.
They did, so there you go. There is a representative coming that will be on site for the entire week, which is probably why it's a long time for the waiting period. They did that when we initially bought RecTrack back in the late 2000s, and it's pretty extensive. It's time consuming and it takes a lot, which is why we chose February, because it's just not in the middle of baseball and not, for not having any downtime, that seems to be the best time during the busy time. If that makes sense at all.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? I notice, since this basically is an off-site administrative capabilities for system administrators, and I'm assuming the training will be for all system administrators and anyone who will act in that capacity, correct?
Initially, what we'll do is our frontline staff, which is Greta, or Miss Nab, Miss Keith, Mr. Hedrick, and John McLean, they'll be the ones that get the training from Vermont Systems. From there, our frontline staff, any customer service reps, will train in-house.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, we have a motion before the board. All those in favor? Thank you. It passed. Okay. All right, next is item B. This is a report item on efficiency improvement implementation. Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. As you know, this as one of my SMART goals for the year as the director, a quarterly report on things that we're doing internally just to improve some efficiency, do some things to streamline processes. The board and Mr. Fearborn has asked me to report to that. This is the second quarter of this reporting period. So what we've done is I've just outlined a few things that we've done. This particular time, I've worked pretty close with John on the office side of things. We've listed a lot of things that may not always be implemented by myself, but it has affected us and done great things for us as well. So I've highlighted a few of those. First and foremost is the hiring of our athletic coordinator. Just adding that person and distributing the duties across the board within the rec division it's made a tremendous help. It's freed us up to do what we specialize in. Instead of kind of all of us being jack of all trades, we can kind of segregate out our duties and really focus on some stuff. So that has been excellent. The website and online updates, as you know, we did get a brand new website. Now, although that wasn't implemented by myself, we did update our web pages and stuff, and we've streamlined how we input that information, how we communicate with the new communications department, as far as the program guide, all of those items have been taken off our plate and moved to that other division. Just that fact alone frees us up to do other things. So we can just submit the information to them and then go and continue to do what we do instead of taking 2 weeks out every 3 months to do a program guide like we used to do. So again, one of those things I didn't have a whole lot to do with, but the process itself has just streamlined what we do on a day-to-day basis. And again, the next one would just be the communications department and the rec division. We have internal calendars where we input our information. He goes in, knows when to advertise, when to Facebook. Our programs are the same way. We have a calendar that we share that we have where we put our programs in. They go in there, they build the program guide off of that, then it comes to us for proofreading. The process was, I would say, at first difficult, only because it was something new for us, something new for them because they're a brand new division. But over the course of the past 6 months, and every time we go through this effort of a program guide, it just gets better, it gets cleaner, it gets easier. So those are some things that we've done on the rec side that's helped free us up to do what we do, and kind of, it's not a delegation other than it's just a shift of functions to another department, which is what the council and Mr. Fearborn wanted out of the communications department. And what I see is, as we continue to grow, they'll probably take on more of the little day-to-day stuff where we're really just giving them the information and they're running with it for us. So that is our efficiency report for the month, sir.
Any questions for Director Musting regarding his efficiency efforts? All right. Thank you. All right, next thing on the agenda would be public comment. I don't have any. All right. At this time, I'll solicit comments from the board members. I'll start on my far left, Mr. Harris.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Mr. Tautman.
I'm good as well.
I know that. Okay. Mr. Eastwood.
No comment.
All right, this is getting easy. Mr. Heath.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
Michelle.
As always, good job. Thank you for all you do, and keep it up.
Mr. Castleman.
I'd asked Nate earlier, had anybody seen the little piece that was done on Channel 4 a couple of days ago about Hawk Ridge Park and the stocking of Johnson Lake? We got about 2 minutes on the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, wow.
And it was some video and a couple of minutes of narrative. And it was one of the highlight things of the 6 o'clock news. I was kind of surprised. I almost missed it. We're growing.
Jenny.
I just want to say yay, Trouts. Other than that, I'm fine.
All right. I want to thank the staff again for a very efficiently run meeting and excellent reports and efforts on their part. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and second for adjournment. All those in favor? All right, this meeting's formally adjourned.
Oh, that's just informational. Not on the agenda. Part of his monthly report.